This is Before the Pitch, where you can love New York baseball no matter what shade of blue you are wearing. I am joining the wonderful and talented and intellectual Mr. Tyler Solomon. You guys have all met him in one of our previous videos, the relocation that changed sports. And he's here today to bring us another video from a historical perspective. This time we're talking about some baseball cards. We're going to go through a quick history of cards in different ways that they were printed and how they developed over time. We're going to take a brief look into my personal collection of over 2,000, which might seem like rookie numbers, and it certainly is to Mr. Tyler Solomon's collection, which is over 10,000 cards. And we're going to go into a few notable ones that he has. We're also going to talk about how cards are graded and how they are evaluated. If you're really interested in starting a collection, either for passion or to maybe make an investment off of it. And finally, we're going to conclude this video by opening up a box of 2020 opening day Topps baseball cards. And we are really excited for that. And that's coming up right next on Before the Pitch.
Okay, so I want to take you guys into the sports cards journey back into the 1900s. So this is when sports cards first started coming out in tobacco packs. Yes, I said tobacco packs. We are used to the bubble gum that came in those wax packs that was basically unusable. But they actually all started in tobacco cards. So when men or boys would actually get chewing tobacco, they would see the cards. So this is a great example of an actual tobacco card right here. So you can even see when I flip it over, Sweet Corporal Cigarettes. So this card is from the 1800s. This was part of the Topps a T206 series back in 2002. That is a genuine card from the 1900s. And you saw them in this size for the first probably decade or so of cards. They slowly started to get larger, but I do want to talk about the tobacco cards on one specific card, which is known as the Holy Grail of all baseball cards, and that of course is the Honus Wagner card. Now, the reason why there are so few of those cards is Honus Wagner was a huge person that disapproved the use of tobacco, especially in kids. So when he found out that his face was being produced on a tobacco card, he immediately ordered as many of those cards that were in existence at the time be burned and taken away, leaving so few of those Honus Wagner cards left. If you want to see one in person, there is one actually at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. It has sold for over $2 million in years past because of the rarity of that card. So tobacco cards, that's where we started with this. And then as we start going into the later years, sports cards kind of fell off of the radar for a while. But the 1950s is when we started to see a real emergence of them. And that's because you start to see more lifelike prints and pictures. So this 1953 Topps Ray Boone card is a great example of the revolution in baseball card collecting, especially amongst the younger kids, because they would be trading them. Again, they had the iconic bubble gum in the packs as well, and you know, a lot of these cards you don't see surviving in today's world of 2020 because kids were being kids with them. They were putting them in the spokes of bicycles, so that way they could make the cool motorcycle noise, which we all did. I did it even growing up as well. But then you really saw the next generation of card collecting in the 80s and 90s. Alright, so now we're going to jump into the 80s and 90s cards. These two cards in particular are from my collection. 80s and 90s come around, and there is a huge resurgence in sports card collecting, memorabilia collecting. So you saw during that time a huge surplus of cards being produced for the masses, and they were selling like wildfire. Now during that time you also saw the emergence of very unique autograph cards. So I want to talk about this Derek Jeter signature rookie here. This is an example of some of the promotions that they had during that time. You can see on the card itself, one of 3,000. It was a mail-in promo. So during those late 80s and early 90s, you had the major um, sports card producers, Topps, Bowman, Upper Deck, Fleer, Donruss. They were producing all sorts of different cards, all sorts of variations, hollows, everything in between. And during this time is when you start to see the emergence of autographs within cards itself. So signature rookies, again, a smaller sub-brand of cards during that time, start to really take that to heart with the rookies that were coming out. And in the early 90s, little did many people know that you were going to have some of these major league stars like Derek Jeter here. So, 1 in 3,000 people did actually have a card like this. And it was only available during these various promotions. And you saw promotions across the board because that's how saturated the market was during that time. You saw promotions coming out from fast food chains with cards in them, and a lot of the card brands tried to differentiate themselves, and that's why I want to kind of point out this card here. This is a 1992 Bowman Chipper Jones rookie card. Now, you notice on here that this card is actually pretty different than what you would see today. Derek Jeter's card over here. He's in uniform. He's going in action. And here, it's a unique pose. He's in street clothes. It was very uncommon for this. And Bowman 92, you had quite a few stars going through there, and they all had this similar style of casual dress. One of the most valuable rookies during the 1992 Bowman year is actually Mariano Rivera, and his rookie card, many people can't believe it because it's just him in street clothes leaning against the wall. So this 92 Bowman here again shows how various brands were trying to separate themselves from each other. And as we're talking about Bowman in particular, Bowman for many sports cards, not just Major League Baseball, but for football, for hockey, they are a gold standard when it comes to finding rookie cards. And so we're going to actually get into talking about the rookie cards right now. Alright, so as we're talking about rookie cards are the most common types of cards that people are looking for, and they are always a gamble from year to year. Some people try to see, who's going to be the next big star, and sometimes you don't really know. Rookie cards, for the longest time, did not have an actual insignia saying that it was their rookie season. Certain brands did actually come out with things like Rated Rookie. That was very famous with the Donruss brand for years. But there was no universal agreed logo for rookie cards until 2006. And I want to point out the Steven Strasburg card because right there in the upper corner, that RC, in 2006, Major League Baseball made it noted that official rookie cards, in terms of Major League Baseball standards, would have that RC in the corner. And we see that again here on this Aaron Judge card as well. So after 2006, if you're looking for a rookie card for that particular person's rookie year card, that's where you would see that one. There is some controversy around that because Bowman, as I mentioned before, they have what are called Bowman first year cards. Bowman, again, is many collectors consider the gold standard for collecting rookie cards. Bowman first year cards are the first card that is produced for a particular player. There is some debate as to whether or not their first year Bowman is considered their true rookie card, or if it is, in fact, as Major League Baseball dubs it, with the official RC emblem on there. So discussions about that, I would be very interested to hear in the comments your view on that particular stance. But there is no question that when you are looking for particularly modern rookie cards like the Steven Strasburg, like the Aaron Judge, you have no question when you see the RC in the corner. That is officially a rookie card for that particular person. So we've gone through a bit of history right now. with the tobacco cards of the early 1900s to cards that we see today. And we are seeing a bit of that renaissance again here in the early 2020s with sports car collecting, particularly during this pandemic. So I want to talk about my next segment about grading and ungrading cards. So we're going to jump over to that right now. Okay, so here we're going to talk about graded and ungraded cards. And the first question that I want to address is, why would you grade a particular card? Well, there are many reasons why you would, but one reason is in fact on the resale side. Many collectors out there collect cards, of course for the fun of it, for the fun of the game, but on the other end of the spectrum, they do want to actually make some money off of this. Graded sports cards are something that is indisputable amongst the card collector industry. And I have a great example of that right here with this Greg Maddux rookie card, Donruss 1987, which is addressed by PSA. PSA is considered the gold standard of cards itself. So PSA Sports Authenticators right there. PSA does not only grade cards, but they also authenticate autographs. They are a multi-tool when it comes to the sports and memorabilia collecting industry. And over here, we have an example of the exact same card, but is ungraded. Now, I want to mention on here, if you are considering grading particular cards, there is a cost to it. So if you want to find out more information, go on the PSA website. They can give you all sorts of different information about PSA grading, how the process works, everything like that. But when it comes to the resale value on it, there's no disputing the value of a card that has in fact been graded on there. Now, there are multiple factors when it comes to grading, so I am actually going to put this card over here, and I do want to mention the other leader within this industry, and that is Beckett. So Beckett, again, is another gold standard when it comes to the grading and memorabilia and autograph authentication industry. Beckett and PSA, if you see any cards, whether you're at a sports card show or on an online auction, if they are authenticated or graded by PSA or Beckett's, it's a gold standard. You do not have to worry about the quality and the ratings of those cards. So I'm going to just turn over the Beckett one really quick, and I'm going to turn this down towards the camera, because you can see on here that Beckett actually provides subgrades on there, which is a little different. Now, there are four main categories that a particular card would get in order to get its overall grading itself, which you see up in the right-hand corner. So this is a Beckett graded 8. And when we look at the subgrading on it, is broken down based on surface, centering, corners, and edges. So the subgrading on there collaborates to an average, and that's how Beckett determines what their final number should be on it. And these are in a range from near mint to excellent condition, but the top of the line is a gem mint. So I will show you an example of a gem mint card right here. This is again another PSA. So this is a Chris Bryant rookie, a gem mint 10 card. So all of the ratings are 1 through 10, and this is the same from Beckett or PSA. Gem mint 10 being the highest quality, the highest score that a card can get on the graded scale, 1 being the lowest one that is on there. So again, I mentioned before, why would you actually do something like this? Why would you grade cards? Well, you grade cards for a multitude of reasons. Resale was one of them. But the other reason is for preserving these cards. These particular cases are sealed shut. There are no major elements that can get in here. These cards are certified by PSA or Beckett to make sure that there is no issues, no potential for water intrusion. If you were to try to break this card open, you would need to use a pair of pliers for it. This is how tight it is. So with a card like this, this 1953 Topps card, it's a great condition card, but you don't want to, you're not going to need to worry about this card deteriorating anymore, because some of the older cards, you need to consider the materials that they're made out of. So after a while, things will start to fade. Things will start to, flake off, because nobody thought back in the 1950s, 60s, or even in the 1900s that baseball cards were going to be around as long as they were. So the quality of the paper that they were on really varied. So when you also look to grade cards, it's not always about the value of the card once it's graded, but also about keeping the card itself preserved in the best state that it possibly can, so that way not only you can enjoy it, but also future generations can enjoy it as well. And so this has been a nice little overview of talking about why a person would grade, why a person wouldn't grade. Now we're going to actually take a jump into Scott's collection here, and we're going to do some live updates with it. So stay tuned. We're going to jump over to that now.
So this is one of my binders full. I have 4 binders. I keep them double-sided. So what you're going to notice is I actually organized my teams, or organized my cards, I'm sorry, by team, by year, by manufacturer. So if you go to any individual team, you're going to get a timeline of events, and I keep all of the like brands together. So it at least looks very presentable. I keep mine on both sides. Not everybody does that. But I choose to just for the sake of saving space.
So Scott, I really like what you've done with your presentation here. It's something that's very common amongst a lot of collectors as well. And one of the big things I want to say about sports card collecting to all of the listeners out there is that you can collect cards any which way you want to. The number one thing that I always tell people, if you want to start a collection, is do it with something that you really enjoy. So whether it's you're starting off by collecting your favorite team, very common, and that's a great way to start off. And if you're a Major League Baseball fan like, Scott and myself, and you're doing everything by teams, that's fantastic as well. And what I'd say is, you can never stop collecting, even if you're not collecting every year. That's totally fine. But always remember to kind of go back into some of your cards, because you never know if you're going to find a gem. Now, we're stopped on this page right here with the Chicago Cubs. One, I am a huge Chicago Cubs fan. Been one since 2000, right when I was about 8 years old. And, this was one, as Scott and I were flipping through some of the pages, I had to kind of stop him on this, because he's got a gem right in here. And I say that because he has a Kris Bryant rookie card from 2015 right there, and he didn't even realize it. Scott, I mean, what were you thinking when I actually, pointed that out to you?
Here's the thing. It was really funny because I saw that, and then we recognized it from one of the ones that you showed in the previous segment that you had it graded. And I haven't even gone back and looked at these in quite a long time. It didn't even dawn on me. And actually, you're the one who pointed it out. And I was actually in a bit of a shock right there.
And that's, again, why you always want to take a look and check out your cards over the years, because, yeah, you may have picked up a pack of cards back in 2012, maybe thought nothing of it, but you know what? That was Mike Trout's rookie year, so maybe you've got a Mike Trout in there. You never know. So when we take a look at this Kris Bryant one, this is a pretty standard rookie card right there, but right next to it, we have another variation of rookie card as well, also a Kris Bryant rookie. And this is very common, especially when you look through multiple manufacturers. You'll see them have multiple variants of cards, not only within the space of just your standard rookie or just a different view, but you would also have hollow views. You'd also have prism rookies. You'd have ones that are refractors. There are so many layers that you can go down when it comes to collecting particular rookie cards themselves. Obviously, as Scott mentioned before, I want to, show my PSA 10 Kris Bryant right next to each other. And this is one of the great things, Scott, you haven't touched this Chris Bryant's card probably since you put it in over several years. So when you come across a gem like this, this is one where you could consider getting it graded. And when you look at when I looked at the initial condition itself, I'm not an expert by PSA standards, but having collected enough PSA and Beckett cards, I can kind of see key things, particularly with corners and how the surface looks. You could see, a near mint to mint condition card if you got this graded by either PSA or Beckett. So, really great find as we're flipping through this book here.
Yeah, we actually, if we go to a page earlier, we actually see we also have the same variations on Addison Russell. We see the rookie card, and we see the also variation. I don't know if you guys could see, it's very small, but the RC logo that identifies rookie cards are still in plain sight.
So I want to, I mentioned this in my segment a little bit earlier when we were talking about cards as well, but Bowman is, again, considered one of the gold standards when it comes to rookie cards themselves. There are a lot of debates on this, and I am very curious to get your feedback in the comments to see what type or brand of card you feel should be a true rookie card. But one thing that Bowman does do that is unique is that they have what are called the first-year cards. So these are the first-year cards that are produced for a particular player itself. So it's the very first Bowman card that is produced for a particular player. Now, when you go back to, for example, the 92 Bowmans that I was talking about earlier, those were all first cards for those particular players, and those are considered by many, many experts within the sports collecting industry to be their official rookie cards. So Bowman, again, is able to do what are called first-year cards, and those are the first cards produced for a particular player that may not necessarily be their true rookie card, but it is their first card that is ever produced within the Bowman line. You also have a great example next to it as well. This is not a rookie card, but this is a Bowman Chrome. So I mentioned before about how you see all sorts of different types of refractor cards and almost holographic cards that you can find within the sports card area. And again, Bowman Chromes are another traditional rookie card that you always want to look for. The Chrome series is often considered a very high value, and they are very hard to grade because the halo specs that are on there are so easily to scratch, to have minor flaws in the surface. I mean, the minute you take them out of the pack, if you have a really, really good rookie card there, immediately want to put it into a card sleeve. If your intention is to resale it down the line. The minute it comes out, the chrome can get fingerprints or other kind of oils on your hands, and that's also another great tip as well. If you are opening up packs of cards and you are opening up a box that may in fact contain a really, really high value card, always wash your hands. If you are dealing with very delicate cards, pre-1960. And they're not graded, they are even raw, don't even have a covering on them, you even might want to consider using some kind of gloves as well, because the oils that are on your hands, as much as you think that they are clean, they can in fact stain the cards themselves. So always be careful when you're dealing with older cards as well. Make sure that your hands are clean, but also even consider using a glove with it. That's why when you see imagery from the Baseball Hall of Fame, and they're touching some of the artifacts, they are using those white gloves as well to make sure that none of the oils on their hands are actually damaging the surface of the cards or the artifacts that they are using.
So really nothing valuable on this page. I just really wanted to point out this card right here. This is a Topps 2000. The reason why I wanted to point that out is because this is actually a part of the first pack of cards that I ever got. I remember when I was in T-ball, which was in 2000 actually. I remember my dad came home one day with about like 4 or 5 packs of Topps 2000 cards, and I never got a pack of Topps 2000 since. So through this whole collection, any Topps 2000 with this layout, it was a part of the first pack or first few packs that I got of baseball cards in T-ball. So I always kept that that very close to my heart.
And so again, as we're kind of going through Scott's collection as well, really great cards in here, Scott, honestly. You're going to find a lot of different values through here, but I think some of the some of the watchers may notice a particularly interesting card on this page. I'd be curious in the comments if you actually see it. But I'll point it out to you right here. This is a Noah Syndergaard rookie. It's a nice nice pull, Scott. Well done. And you also have Steven Matz as well, who did pretty well for the Mets for a couple seasons too. I think he's still on the Mets, right?
So I actually have a question for Tyler because we were talking about rookie cards. There's another notable rookie card on this page. You could see it right in the middle. There is a Justin Verlander rookie card. So the question I'm going to propose to Tyler is that at what point should I start to think that I should send it out to get graded? Since we know Verlander is essentially a lock for the Hall of Fame. So is this a good point to send out his rookie card, or should I wait?
You know, that's a great question, Scott. And my answer to that is now actually would be a pretty good time to go out and get it graded, because right now, raw rookie cards of all-stars, you know, really strong stars that we see during this time, as long as they continue their career and there is a factor of, you know, how they live within this social media world that we live in, as long as there's not a, you know, major scandal or things like that, you know, their cards are often, you know, consistent in value. Justin Verlander, as you mentioned, one of the most dominant pitchers, and such a resurgence that he's had over the past couple of seasons with the Houston Astros that you have to tip your hat to him, you know, with everything that he's done there. He's definitely one where with this rookie card here, I would definitely take it out, put it into a plastic sleeve, and consider that, you know, down the road if you want to get that one graded. Justin Verlander is one where, you know, once you have that card graded, that grade is locked. And if it comes back like that Gem Mint Chris Bryant card that I showed earlier today, the value is just going to continue to grow with it.
So at this point, we're going to conclude this video by actually opening up the box, which Tyler is opening up right now. We are very curious as to what's going to be inside. We have no idea what to expect. And in my opinion, this is the funnest part about card collecting, is when you first open these packs, you really start to see who's...
Look how awesome that is. You can't not be excited when you have a fresh box of baseball cards in here. So again, these are Topps 2020 opening day cards that we have here. So there are a total of 10 packs plus one bonus pack. So we have 11 packs right here. So we're going to split these about 50-50. Yep, so 5 and 5. I think it's 5 and 5. I don't know. Yeah, should be 5 and 5. Yep, 5 and 5. And then there'll be one bonus one at the end that we will do live. So you take 5 packs to open, I'll take 5 packs to open.
Sounds like a plan. Ready?
And for those of us as well, I have my computer right here because I am a subscriber to the Beckett Online site. So if in fact we find a really cool card, I can do a quick look up on here and see what's going on. Now, as we're opening up these packs, if we get something that's really good, I will show you the proper way to handle a very rare card as well. So that way it's in the proper sleeve and everything like that. So
immediately, I have one that's not, I don't think it'd be rare, but it's one that I am very happy to see, very excited to see, and one that if Billy were here, Billy would go pretty nuts over. It's a player who Billy really wanted on the Mets, but he's not. I have with you, I'll show you in a second, is an Anthony Rendon Angels card, and you're going to see the airbrush they did on the jersey. And I had heard from a few places that Topps did not have good airbrushing for this year as far as like putting on the fake jerseys that I haven't worn yet. And it's kind of very obvious that this is not the shirt he's wearing. I'm going to show it to the camera really quickly.